Alright, welcome back to class. Thank you for listening and paying attention for the previous lessons. We're going to do a fun little assignment to go over, just to recap what we've learned. Now again, we're talking about, right now our unit is on the Civil War. Now the fun little activity we're going to do, cause and effect. So, like I said, what is the event that we're covering, that we're going to do a recap on?
Civil War.
How'd you know?
Because you just told me, you twit.
The Civil War, that is the big event that we're focusing on right now. So what I want to focus on right now are the short-term causes. So what were some of the immediate causes of the Civil War?
Death.
I think that would be more of an effect, but that's a good point. Death of who though?
Well, how about the election of Lincoln?
The election. Now why would that election cause the southern states to secede? Yes,
Because the southern states wanted slavery and Lincoln didn't want it.
exactly. So you have a political aspect. Lincoln was against slavery. Yes?
Monetary aspect.
Exactly. Who had all the money in the United States at the time? Who were the richest individuals?
The South.
The Cotton Kings. Now I'm going to put these guys over here for now, and you'll figure out, and you'll see why later.
He's talking about you, Marcy. Short. But cute.
The Cotton Kings. Now when Lincoln was elected into office, remember, we read journals about this where his name wasn't even on a ballot in the southern states. So just put yourself in their shoes. You're voting, you believe in the republic, you believe in democracy, you vote for a president, to find out that a guy's put into office that wasn't even on your ballot. And the southern states, they had no right, they had no power at all now in voting. Because no one voted for Lincoln, but he still became president. And so that was one of the signs, that was the final straw that forced them to secede. Now when they seceded, what was one of the first places they started to take? It is a military campaign. The first military operation was to go over and take Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter.
Well, wasn't Fort Sumter in South Carolina?
Yes.
Was. Is.
So it's in the South, but the federal government owned it and mandated it. So, but the South took over the base or the post because they felt they owned it.
Exactly. They felt we no longer recognize the federal government. This fort is on state ground. We are confiscating it. We're taking it back because this is ours. And like you beautifully put, the states no longer recognize federal government, so the federal soldiers inside refused to surrender. They refused to give it up. They were allowed to leave, but they had to leave all the supplies there. They weren't going to do that. So that was one of the things that caused a big controversy, because the southern states said, we will let the soldiers leave if they leave the stuff here. Lincoln said, I will send supplies to these forts so they can survive the siege. And the southern states responded, if you send any kind of reinforcements or any supplies, we'll take that as a declaration of war. Despite that clear warning, Lincoln still sent supplies to aid the fort. Now why would he do that?
He felt the fort was the Federal Reserve, federal government.
It was his responsibility to take care of the people in it.
I was guessing a bad hangover.
That might be one of the lesser known aspects of history. We'll put that off on the side. So we'll talk about a few of the short-term effects, short-term causes. Let's focus on the long-term. What were some of the long-term causes that led to this conflict between the North and South?
A long war.
What?
A long war.
A long war. What do you mean?
But didn't it last about 4 years?
That was the effects, not
Oh.
the cause. We're talking about long-term cause.
Well,
Dang.
part of it was because Missouri was trying to become a free state. Missouri is considered a southern state. And some people wanted to keep Southern as a slave state, but the federal government was trying to keep it as a free state. And so they kind of determined that anything north of a certain geographical area, that there would be no slave states north of that line.
Mason-Dixon line, I believe.
Exactly. Now, if you look over at the map on the other side of the room over there, we have a map over there of the southern and northern states
I don't see it.
of the United States. It's off screen. Use your imagination, Doug. Territories off to the west. That was one of the compromises made earlier on, that the states determined whether they're free or slave states. The southern states wanted more territory for expansion because of one key thing. Cotton. At this point in time, the cotton that the South produced was made up for 80% of the world, like 80% of the world used cotton from the South. All around the world. So this was a huge economic boom for them. They gained a lot of power because of this, and they wanted more land to grow more cotton, but they're being denied because they just put the Mason-Dixie line. The Dixie line, no, sorry. Yes, Doug?
Did you hear about the black guy who died of a headache? He refused to pick the cotton out of the aspirin bottle?
I'll try to edit that out later. I apologize for the comments. Don't film me. These are some of the long-term causes. Now what's another thing? So cotton is a big factor into this. Now what was another thing the North did that targeted cotton specifically, that angered the South?
Put tariffs on it.
Now for clarification, what are tariffs?
Tariffs is like a tax on something coming for sale in the country or into your area.
An excise tax.
They've never really had tariffs before between states. And so this is a brand new type of tax. So they've always had free trade between the states, North and the South, and all those other states. Now that all of a sudden the North is coming saying, we're going to charge you, we're going to put a tariff on your product.
And this angered them because, like I said, cotton is their main produce. They're saying the raw material to the North has industry, exact manufacturing industry. They turn the cotton to shirts, clothing, all sorts of product, and then the Southerners buy it again at full price with tax. So they pay taxes for the raw material going up north, and they pay taxes to buy the materials that their sources made.
Democrats.
So this angered a lot of Southerners. These are some of the long-term effects. So you can see how these long-term effects lead into these short-term effects. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about as well, just real quick. Three-fifths. Does that spark any reminders, anybody?
That is, for every five, is basically the amount of slaves can actually count as population, right?
Per slave, their vote counts for three-fifths of a vote.
Yes.
So almost half a vote. And you need 2 slaves to get 1 vote. That was a part of the Great Compromise made by the North. Why would they do that? Why would they target slaves like that? Treat them like your vote's only worth half a vote.
Well, they didn't have a vote before.
Let's look at it this way. These Cotton Kings, they made up less than 1% of the South. How many slaves do you think they had? Hundreds of them. And if every single one of those slaves was able to get a full vote, do you think they'd vote for who they wanted to vote for, or would they be told who to vote for?
They'd
And
be
so
told.
that is one of the compromises that was made, and that is one of the long-term effects that really angered the South, because as more and more slaves are coming into the South, short-term wise, a lot of people in Congress in the North going, wait a minute, we didn't know the slavery was going to expand this far. We didn't know it was going to be growing this in this great numbers, so we're pretty soon that 3/5 compromise was going to mean nothing. So these tensions are building up between the North and the South. And these are some of the, like I said, the long-term causes feed into the short-term causes that go into the event. And now, time,
One more minute. Keep
got
going.
it?
Keep
Cut.
going.
Cut.
Oh, okay.